All right, so I'm going to show you how I colored in these pages using my iPad. I posted this picture recently and I got a lot of different questions asking how I did it. So I'm going to do my very best to make a video here to show you. I've never made any kind of video before, so I'm hoping all of this makes sense and is easy enough for you to follow so that you can try it for yourself. So the app I use is Sketchbook Pro. I find it's a lot easier to use than Procreate just because things are kind of laid out in an easier manner. So it's just better for beginners to just kind of pick up and start using, whereas Procreate is a little more advanced. And you can get Sketchbook on Apple and Android devices. So starting out here, I'm going to show you the tools I use. There's all kinds of different ones that you can choose from, but I'm going to use the pencil, the eraser, and the pen tool. The pencil is great. The lighter pressure you use, the lighter it will be, and the harder you press, the darker it will be. And you can go back and get those really nice gradients that way. The pen tool I like to use if I'm adding details to a page or if I need to fill in like one thing, a certain color, I like to use that tool as well. The eraser is everybody's best friend here, as well as the undo button, which is in the top left corner of the top bar you see here. I press it a lot, so if you see something quickly disappear from a page, I was just pressing the undo button. And then on the right hand side of the page here is going to be our layers. This will be really important for when we're doing our coloring book pages. I will do my best to explain how those work, but it's definitely super important. I'll get to that in just a minute though. First, I'm going to show you how to use this tool. So I just moved it by tapping it and dragging it. This tool will help you for so many different things. So first, it will adjust how big your brush is. So if you tap it and pull it to the left, it makes it nice and little. And if you tap it and pull it to the right, it makes it nice and big. So you can do that with any of those tools, whichever you want to use. That's just the ones I use. Also, when you're using a color, if you tap this bottom red and drag it down, you get a darker color. If you tap it and drag it up, you get a lighter color. So that's really nice when you're trying to add like a little shadow or a little highlight to something. Just do that and then you'll get your colors exactly how you need them. And to change the whole color, you're just going to tap that red circle and it'll pull up the color wheel here. So you can move these little circles around with your stylus to any color you want. So let's say we want a green color. I'm going to move it to the green side. And then I'm going to take the little circle in the middle here and just drag it around until I see the color I want. I really like to go with more natural colors, so I tend to kind of be around this side of the square, but you can use any color you want. Anything you want, you can just kind of choose it here. But I'm going to go back to the red. So I'm going to show you how to pull in a new page. So up on that top bar, there's going to be the mountain range with the plus sign. You're just going to hit that. We're going to import an image, and then we're going to touch the mountain pictures thing here again. And I already took a picture of a page I want to work on. So I'm just going to bring that in and adjust it. You just pinching my screen here. Okay, so there's that. Now, on the right-hand side here, you can see my two layers. I have this new page we just brought in, and I have the page that my video started on. So next, in like the left top corner of those pages, it looks like a little eye. If you tap that eye, it will turn off that layer. So you can't see that one anymore, and I can turn it back on. Now, it's super important here to turn the blending on multiply for these layers. So you always want the coloring book page to be your top layer. So I'm going to go here really quick and add a new layer. So you're going to tap that plus sign on the top right of the bar on the side, and that's going to create a new layer. So right now, if I were to color on that layer, you wouldn't be able to see it. So I'm going to go to the first layer again here, tap it, go down to blending, and hit multiply. Now we can see everything that's beneath that layer. I'm going to turn off our first layer, and now we see we have the little scribble that I did here earlier. I'm going to delete that layer by tapping it and hit delete. I'm going to add a new layer again. I use so many layers when I'm drawing. It's not even funny. I've had people make fun of me for it before. Like, things get a little crazy, so you can do things however you want. I like to draw every item on a separate layer and then merge them all together, which I can show you how to do that really quick here. So first, I'm going to choose an item to color in. I'm going to start with these little roses because I already have my red activated. And I'm going to just color those in. Anything I draw beneath the coloring book layer will go beneath the black lines. Anything I draw on the coloring book layer will go above the line. So that's why I always do things in a layer beneath it. That way you're never going over the lines or making anything look messy or anything like that, which I think is a really important step that most people don't know to do. Okay, so to add the shading on these roses, I'm just going to pull down on our little color selector guy there and add our shadow. Now I kind of went outside of the line there. I'm going to grab my eraser tool really quick and then just erase that. Just clean up the edges a little bit. Okay, go back to my pencil and go up to a lighter color and do a little highlight. See, the roses are already looking good. Lighten it. Add a little highlight. Again, I always like to use 3 colors for everything. I just feel like it makes things more vibrant, kind of gives it just a little bit more life. Now I'm going to color in the bush that they're on. So I'm going to add another layer, and I'm actually going to put this layer beneath our red little circles we got there. Go back to my pencil, go to my color dot here, go to the greens. And I'm going to start with kind of a lighter green, maybe a little bit more on the yellow side. So I'm going to pull this up more towards the yellow area, something about there. Now again, if I color beneath the red, then I don't have to worry about the green getting on them. If I were to color above the red, it would color over the red I just did. I hope that makes sense. That's probably the trickiest thing to put into words here, especially with me never telling anybody how to do this before. So I really hope that makes sense. I'm just gonna scribble this all in. And you could use the pen tool here. I just kind of end up always sticking with my pencil for the most part. Getting my eraser, erasing that. Okay, back to my pencil and go to a a darker color again here. I'm just kind of going wherever I feel like with this darker color to kind of give a little bit more depth to this little bush we got here. This is where using that lighter pressure of the pencil tool works out really well. Okay, now I'm gonna go up to a lighter color, or actually I'm gonna change it to an actual yellow to kind of give an even brighter effect here. Just kind of go over any area I think would be kind of highlighted. All right, so look at that. We have a beautiful little bush going here. Let's see, if I were to want to go back to that darker green, I open my little color circle again here, and there's a spot where it says color history. I'm going to select that dark green I used earlier, and I'm going to take it down even a couple more notches, go back to my pen tool, and then I'm going to add, let's see, maybe make my size a little smaller, and I'm going to add a few more of these cute little lines to kind of give it a little bit more texture. So this is when I use the pen tool. Usually I use the pen tool for anything that I'd use an acrylic marker for if I was drawing on paper. That way you have a little bit more detail. And again, that's not something you have to do. It's just if you like to do it, you can. All right, and then let's see, I'm gonna grab my eraser again and erase that. Okay, so that looks really good together now. What I'm gonna do next is merge the layers. So I'm gonna go back up to my red circles I did earlier, select it, and there's this merge button. I'm just gonna tap that, and now those two layers have become one with each other. Now, one thing I like to do too is if I can't decide on a color, there's this other cool thing you can do. So up on the top bar, there's this little selection tool. I'm going to select it and then choose the lasso, which is the very first one on the left-hand side. Then I'm going to circle whatever thing, I'm not sure of what color I want it to be. Then going to tap the layer it's on, and there will be this button down on the very bottom to the right that says adjust. I'm going to hit adjust and hit HSL adjustment. Now it'll come up with these different slider bars. The top one, if you slide it, it will change the color. So this is great if I can't choose what color I want something to be. I will use this to kind of get a better idea of what it would look like. I kind of like that orangey yellow, so I'm going to do that. And then that one would be that color. If I wanted to change all of them, I'm going to hit my undo button back to before we merged things. So if I were to merge things, let's see. If I were to have these items merged and try to do the HSL adjustment again, it would change both the green and the red. But I just want to change the red. So I'm going to unmerge the layers, go back to adjust, and do that again. And that way the green color of the bush doesn't change, but the colors of the flowers do. So let's say I actually want them to be yellow. There we go. Now we have yellow flowers on our bush instead. And you can do that for any part of the page. That's pretty much how I do everything. Let me know if you have any questions. I tried to keep this as simple and as brief as possible. Again, there's so many different things that you can use on this app to really make your pages come to life. So if you have any more questions or want to see a tutorial on anything else, please let me know and I'd love to show you guys. Thank you so much, and yeah, let me know if you have any questions.